I found myself live-streamed with the horse. A genuine tale of betrayal. It caught me off guard when my husband brought up our horse. Little did I know that what started as an ordinary day on our serene farm would turn into an experience that would leave me utterly astonished. For years, our horse has been a cherished member of our little family, and my husband and I have always held a deep affection for animals. His movements, the way he listens, and the understanding he conveys without uttering a single word bring a deep sense of comfort. One afternoon, something shifted, replacing that calm, and I find myself unable to fully articulate what it was. Initially, there was a look in my husband's eyes that was completely unfamiliar to me. There was a certain glow about him, a spark of excitement that suggested he was on to something significant. He shared what he believed was a brilliant idea for an activity involving the horse, a cup of tea. Initially, I chuckled, believing it to be yet another one of his quirky video concepts, or perhaps just a fresh activity for the horse. I could tell he was serious as he continued to elaborate on it. I can see now that this wasn't the best choice. What were we truly planning to do? It caused me to pause and reflect on it. My heart is completely devoted to him. I have faith in him. Yet, love has its limits, particularly when something feels amiss. When he said, "Just trust me, it'll be great." I could sense the softness in his voice, and perhaps the most unsettling part for me was the intensity of his belief while I remained filled with doubt. The horse lingered close, oblivious to the growing tension that was unfolding between us. It felt as if he sensed that something was amiss, didn't it? As I glanced from my husband to the camera he had positioned, a singular question kept echoing in my mind. Will I step over a boundary that I can't return from? I lingered there for a moment, caught in a dilemma between stepping back or inching closer to the lens. My husband began adjusting the angles, discussing the lighting, and commenting on how natural everything appeared. He exuded such calmness and focus that it seemed as though everything was perfectly all right. Yet, I sensed a tightening in my chest. It felt as though my body was sending me signals, anticipating my mind's reaction. It struck me when I observed the way he moved with intention. It seems he had this all figured out. For a time, we've always been in this together. We took care of everything on the farm, from erecting fences to tending to the animals. That was one of the things I cherished about our connection. He was always the one bringing fresh ideas to the table, keeping everything lively and engaging. I was the one who held those ideas back. However, this time, I found myself not in favor of the idea. It transcended the video and the horse. He was prepared to put in the extra effort, believing it had the potential to be truly remarkable. People would hear him express thoughts such as, "This will capture their interest," or "No one has attempted this before." I found myself pondering if the intention was to capture a genuine farm experience or merely to achieve viral fame. As I gazed upon the horse, it exuded a sense of calm and steadiness that was truly reassuring. Yet, his gaze was expansive, and his ears twitched with alertness. He sensed our energy, and that only deepened my discomfort. "What is it that you truly wish for me to do?" I finally found the courage to ask. My voice carried a steady strength, though it remained soft. He offered me a smile, as if all was well, and shared nothing too out of the ordinary. "Simply embrace who you truly are. The connection you share with the horse is truly special. The camera will capture it." Yet, there was an unsettling quality in the way he expressed it. A brief moment of silence. There was a moment of uncertainty that felt out of character for him. The lights were shining brightly, and the camera had begun its relentless gaze. In that moment, it transformed into something far more significant than a mere video. It appeared more imposing and powerful. It felt as though we were teetering on the brink of an unknown, something we hadn't completely contemplated. I shifted my weight and turned my gaze back to my husband, choosing not to look at the horse once more. For a brief moment, I found myself questioning my own identity as his gaze locked onto mine, seeking a sense of clarity. I attempted to calm my breath, yet it eluded me. The thoughts that kept swirling in my head. Why was there a need for such ambiguity? What is it about this that deepens his struggle? Even if he's trying to hide it, I witnessed him return to the tripod, adjusting a few minor details. It seems like capturing that ideal moment has taken precedence over the genuine feelings we share. In the stillness of the barn, the only sounds were the soft echo of the horse's hooves and the gentle hum of the camera. It felt as though an unspoken truth was on the verge of revealing itself. I found solace as my fingers glided gently along the horse's neck. This horse held a significance beyond mere companionship for me. He was like family to me. He stood by my side through everything: serene evenings, intense arguments, moments filled with laughter, and times when all I longed for was the comforting presence of someone by my side. Yet here he found himself, caught in a situation that eluded his grasp, in the stillness. It was my husband who finally broke the quiet. Come, let us gather once more. Just as we have in the past. I found myself in a state of uncertainty. Have you experienced this before? It seems we haven't truly engaged in any meaningful work. He had shared thoughts in the past, but this time, it felt different, more focused, more personal. I found myself moving my legs almost on instinct, stepping toward the direction he indicated. The horse shifted slightly. He sensed a palpable discomfort, as if an unseen weight was pressing down, hinting that something was amiss. There was a familiar sensation stirring within me. I inquired once more, "Please share what our course of action is." Yet all he offered was a simple, "Trust me." I really wanted him to be truthful and clarify everything properly. 2 words that once brought me comfort now only bring me stress. I caught a glimpse of his face. There were thoughts lingering in the shadows. There's also this elusive feeling that I can't quite identify. I find myself questioning whether this was truly about us or if it was merely an attempt to validate something for someone else. It's a perplexing thought. Isn't it perhaps to those navigating the online world, perhaps just to himself? Yet, deep down, I yearned to have faith in him, as I have always done. I sought to dispel my uncertainties. Now, however, there was a shift in the air. He seemed lost in his own world, oblivious to everything around him. He was so caught up in creating something that it felt more like a performance than a genuine moment shared between us. The horse beside me, restless and fidgety, mirrored the turmoil I felt within. He returned to me, gently whispered my name, and urged me to smile just a bit. In that manner, it would seem more genuine. I truly gave it my all. What might unfold if I continued down this path, it consumed my thoughts entirely. What happens if I choose not to? I did my best to maintain my composure in that moment. Yet a wave of tension washed over me. The barn, once my sanctuary, now loomed before me like a stage I never chose to step onto. My husband's voice constantly guided my actions. At first, it seemed serene, yet beneath the surface, there was an undeniable sense of urgency and dominance lurking within. He gestured gently toward the horse, inviting it to approach just a bit more. We're on the brink of reaching our destination. I nearly mustered the courage to ask, yet a deep fear held me back, dreading the response that might come. The horse shifted once more, as if it could feel the turmoil within me. He twitched his tail and laid his ears back, so I gently placed a soft hand on his neck to soothe him. He sensed the shift in energy as well. Not just me. Animals have an uncanny ability to sense when things are amiss. And at this moment, everything feels deeply unsettling. I took one last glance at the camera. The small red light flickered, as if it were capturing not only the present moment, but also every whisper of uncertainty that was beginning to invade my mind. I cast another glance at my husband. He immersed himself completely, adjusting angles and lighting, all alone in his pursuit. Yet, it wasn't the type of passion that stirred any excitement within me. It was utterly maddening. In that moment, I realized it had transcended beyond just the two of us. It wasn't about the video at all. It was a matter of control, testing the limits to see just how much I could endure before surrendering. "Can we have a conversation about this?" And I inquired gently. He cast his gaze downward. "We will make it happen. Let's complete this initial task." The smoothness of his words couldn't mask the anger that lingered beneath them. It appeared that he truly required this moment. They required my assistance. "Are you looking to reveal something?" To everyone out there, he may choose to hold it close, sharing it with no one. I found myself questioning my own abilities. "Continue on your path, my friend. This isn't how it should be." The horse let out a soft snort and shifted once more, brushing against me lightly. I shifted to the side, only to collide with the wooden stall door, my head meeting it with an unexpected thud. I felt as if the air had been stolen from my lungs. My heart raced, outpacing even the soft hum of the camera. It seemed like the tides were finally turning for the better. His burden. My fear weighs heavily on my heart. The horse is feeling stressed. As we found ourselves at the brink of a decision, uncertainty loomed over which direction it might take us. I was aware of this. However, once something shatters, the path to return is forever lost. As I sought to find my composure, a sound pierced the air, halting me in my tracks. A gentle click. I recognized that sound, subtle and barely audible. Coming from behind the camera, it transcended mere recording. The live stream started because my husband decided to turn it on. My stomach sank, initially. I found it hard to accept. This is not a cautionary note. That wasn't a warning. I find myself trapped, with no option to retreat. He decided to go live without giving me a heads up. In an instant, it became more than just a video we could alter or erase. Many eyes were fixed on the unfolding events, witnessing everything as it transpired. The red light on the side of the camera, once steady, now blinks differently. It was more than merely a symbol of music. It was a transmission. "Wait," I said, my voice cutting through the stillness of the barn, almost too loud for the quiet space. "Do we still exist in this moment?" He averted his gaze from me. I made a couple of minor adjustments to the tripod and chose to ignore it. He quickly replied, "It's fine. Keep going, all of it." "It's okay." I raised my voice this time. "I'm afraid I can't agree with that. You went live without giving me a heads up, didn't you?" It was in that moment, when he finally looked up, that I truly saw it for the first time. It was not a mistake. It was intentional. It seems he had this all figured out. He never offered me the opportunity. Fully aware that my answer would be a no, he believed that the presence of the audience, the gaze of the camera, and the significance of the moment would carry me forward. It needed to resonate with me, he expressed, yet there was an unsettling calmness and nonchalance in his voice. They respond more genuinely when it's unscripted. The words cut deep. Was it really unscripted? This was no mere performance. It was my existence. As onlookers observed my battle to maintain composure, they sensed an unease that eluded their comprehension. I felt vulnerable and deceived. The horse sensed it too, its ears twitching and feet shifting in response. I leaned in closer, my voice barely above a whisper, urging him to find some calm. Though I felt my own strength waning, I found myself unable to find my footing anymore. Not at this moment when everything seems to be unraveling. I found myself at odds with this. I shared my feelings with you. It felt like you crossed a boundary. He raised his hands as if it were nothing to worry about. Indeed, it's just a fleeting moment. You've faced greater challenges. Please, go ahead. This holds no significance. It wasn't just anything. you know, in that moment, captured for all to see. The bond of trust was shattered. It wasn't merely the fact that he went live that was surprising. As the words began to flash across the screen in real time, murmurs rippled through the audience, drawing their attention and sparking conversation. They were small, barely visible from my vantage point, yet I managed to catch fleeting glimpses of them. There are those who have wandered off the path. It seemed that a few individuals found it quite entertaining. Yet, there were those, far too many, who seemed to carry a heavy sense of concern. It was evident that stress was present. What they were watching certainly didn't bring any warmth to the heart. They were witnessing something that stirred a sense of discomfort within them, something undeniably genuine. What followed was truly the most difficult moment. My phone buzzed in my back pocket, time and time again. Messages are arriving. Hello, dear ones. A person inquired about the situation, wanting to know if all was well. If this was part of the plan, that's when everything became truly frightening. He attempted to soothe my feelings once more, but the moment had passed. The crowd was swelling in size. The weight of expectations kept mounting. Now it was no longer just the two of us. It was all about the eyes, contemplating a choice. He clearly crossed that line, assuming I would never refuse. He made a mistake. Didn't he? I just couldn't bring myself to go, to remain steady for a perfect capture. It's no longer the case. I paused for a moment, and it felt as if time itself had come to a standstill. The live stream continued on. It seems that many individuals continue to share their thoughts in abundance, despite everything. My husband continued to put on a brave face, as if nothing was wrong. Yet, there was a shift within me. I approached the sea without a single thought, camera in hand, and simply turned it off. In a heartbeat. The screen was engulfed in darkness. The stream has come to an end. Silence is golden. That was the moment. He appeared utterly taken aback. "What are your intentions for the future?" he inquired, as though my actions had only complicated matters further. I uttered a resolute no, my voice steady, yet trembling beneath the surface. "What are your intentions for the future? You made a decision without consulting me. You approached our lives as if they were merely a script, as if I were just a character in your narrative." He paused, silence hanging in the air for a moment. After that, he ceased his performances. He said with a shrug, "I figured you'd be on board with it. Individuals find joy in embracing authenticity. It seems you were experiencing some sadness." It was indeed true. I lost my temper. That wasn't yours to disclose. It was more than just a charming tale or the horse itself. I bared my soul to you, and you didn't even inquire. It felt like there was a deeper story waiting to be shared every time he spoke. But then he paused. Perhaps he had an inkling of it. Maybe not. I took matters into my own hands instead. I made my way past him, heading toward our horse buddy, who was anxiously pacing back and forth. I softly caressed his neck, murmuring to myself, seeking solace in the one individual who had never turned my existence into a spectacle. That was the moment when the final surprise arrived. As I gently removed Buddy's halter, allowing him the freedom to roam in the pasture, my eyes caught sight of something nestled in his saddlebag. A small envelope appeared, one that I hadn't placed there myself. I gently eased it open. A folded note lay inside, penned by my husband. The words were brief, yet profoundly unsettling. "I can sense you've seen the messages. Haven't you?" I felt the need to keep it to myself. The video needed to divert their focus. My hands trembled with uncertainty. "What do you want to share with me? What secrets did he keep from you?" It was more than just the live stream or the horse. There was something deeper at play. The true tale was only beginning to unfold. As I stood there, the note clutched tightly in my hands. My thoughts were a whirlwind, each one vying for attention. My heart raced as I grappled with the meaning of what I had just read. How many messages have you received? What was it that he wished to keep concealed as I turned to my husband? I found him silent, his gaze fixed on me, a mix of confusion and guilt etched across his features. Can you help me understand what this signifies? My voice trembled, barely rising above a whisper as I inquired. The burden of the truth felt incredibly heavy on my shoulders. His heavy sigh weighed on the air, a silent confession of burdens carried within. He averted his gaze for a brief moment before meeting my eyes again. He murmured softly, "It's not what you think. I truly intended to protect you. I wish this had come to your attention in a different way. Yet." He found himself pausing, struggling to articulate what weighed on his mind. Text: "There's something I've been keeping from you, and I fear it might complicate things even further." What I discovered cut deeper than any other experience I had faced. He had been hiding something from me all along. It went beyond the live stream. It wasn't merely the weight of creating content and testing boundaries. It carried a greater significance. This was about the trust we had nurtured and the secrets he had been holding back from me, as I still struggled to grasp the reasons behind it all. He approached me, his gaze pleading and full of unspoken words. I realize now that I made a mistake. I believed that by focusing your gaze on the video and the horse, you might overlook what was really happening. I apologize. I found myself shaking my head, tears beginning to flow. What is our current situation? Confidence. What happened to it? He lowered his gaze, a picture of defeat. I made a mistake. I thought I could manage it, that it wouldn't escalate to this point. I realize now that I made a mistake. It felt as though we lingered in that moment for an eternity. It seemed we both carried words within us, yet the silence held us back from sharing them. I understood that returning was not an option for me. Everything has changed now. The connection we once shared seemed fragile, and deep down, I understood that mending it would require patience, regardless of my longing to restore it. It's not just a matter of what exists between us. It's also a struggle I face within myself. Rebuilding trust was necessary for me. After a deep conversation that evening, we came to the decision to take a break. We sought a sanctuary to untangle our thoughts, free from the prying eyes and the weight of pressure. At times, the path to progress requires us to pause and reflect, allowing ourselves to step back for a moment. In the following weeks, a gradual sense of improvement started to unfold. We addressed the issues at hand. We reflected on our missteps and discovered fresh approaches to bond with one another beyond the lens. My dear friend, Buddy the horse, remained by our side, guiding us to cherish what truly matters in the end. We took a lesson from our misstep, and the video remained unseen. It feels like the trust and love we once shared with our followers and the content we created is lost forever. It wasn't about the validation, it was about us. Wasn't it? I understood that patience was essential, yet there was one certainty that lingered in my mind. I discovered something profound. Sometimes, the narratives we create in our minds may not hold the weight we think they do.